So I have with me today Matthijs van Doorn, Vice President Commercial for Port of Rotterdam, TOC Europe's keynote speaker. Welcome, Matthijs.
Thank you.
Matters arising from your conference session this morning, which was very interesting. One of the areas you talked about was expanding potentially the capacity of the footprint of the Port of Rotterdam. I was wondering how you intend to do that and what sort of intelligence is that based on?
Yeah. Well, so I think first of all we decided decades ago that we were to reclaim land and form a Maasvlakte 2 area. We've seen the plans that we had there being developing all over these years, but what was definitely there to stay was the container industry. And with a couple of new terminal operators, we basically filled up Maasvlakte area. But we still have a lot of land reserved for expansion of these terminals. And I think we're very lucky that in the Northwest European range, we're actually the only port that has the possibility to expand their terminal capacity. We do this on, of course, the predictions that we have for the market. And in actually every scenario that we run, we believe that container volume will keep on growing for the coming years. So we're confident that there will be a demand, there's a market need, and we have the option to expand capacity in the next couple of years, which we'll do so. As a port authority, we anticipated on that and already started construction of the quay walls. So even though our customers haven't firmly confirmed their expansion, we started constructing the quay walls because we don't want that to wait for the formal decisions.
Digitization is a theme of the TOC Europe conference, and during your presentation you touched on Portbase. I was wondering if you could just explain a little bit more about what Portbase is and some of the challenges you've had to overcome to set it up, and also some of the benefits that it would bring your operators and your customers, please.
Yeah. And so Portbase is our port community system, which is basically a data hub in the port. And the idea of that port community system is that all the stakeholders in Port of Rotterdam can use that one system to connect with each other. And that's not only terminals and carriers, for example, it's also hinterland operators, barge operators, rail operators, trucking operators that connect into that one data hub, giving them the opportunity to exchange their data with multiple stakeholders, basically. So it's connect once to many. That's the whole idea of the port community system. Yes, we have seen we had some challenges in the past because it demands a different way of working of companies. It demands trust that the port community system is indeed up and running. Well, we have an uptime of 99.8%, so we are very reliable. And I think one of the most important aspects is that from the port community system we communicate with, for example, Dutch customs. So it's also a real authority in place which gives secure feeling and high safety standards.
Is there a single digital platform under which Portbase works? Is it 5G? What is the communication standards you're using?
I know that they work in the cloud because they did a migration a couple of years ago. But that's, to be honest, all that I know. It functions, it works properly, so I think that's the most important.
Absolutely.
The vision we have is that there will be global platforms coming up. We see that already in the market. Our vision is that we want Portbase to connect to these platforms so that Portbase can basically give the Rotterdam truth. It still gives the opportunity for the data owner to decide with whom they want to share data. But in our view, a Portbase should communicate with the global platforms that are coming into the logistics chain at this moment. And they run a couple of pilots, for example, with TradeLens. And we're anticipating to do the same with GSBN. And in that way we'll keep on developing Portbase into, well, the needs of the future, basically.
And still on the theme of digitization, your Rootscanner initiative, that's going to raise some eyebrows. It's also generating a lot of interest. Can you talk us through how that works, and can you also sort of assure its users that the traffic isn't just going to be diverted directly to your front door?
Yeah. Well, it's you're not the first one to ask that question. Well, maybe to take a small step back, we initially developed a system called Navigate because we received many questions a day about what carriers are calling at Rotterdam, what barge connections do you have, what rail connections do you have, and we wanted to basically digitalize that. We put it into one platform, Navigate, where you could always find the route via Rotterdam, end to end, door to door. Market need demanded to not only give a Rotterdam point of view, but they said it's nice, but it's just part of the puzzle that I have to solve. So we would like to have all the other options visible as well. We took on that challenge and developed Rootscanner out of that. So Navigate will stop, Rootscanner will come in, and we not only have the schedules via Rotterdam, but we also included the ones via our competing ports in Northwest European range. So which offers much more value to a shipper trying to find out how to get goods into or out of Northwest Europe. To answer your question on how is that set up, well, first, now you have to trust my blue eyes. It is transparent, so customers will find out if we manipulate it, so we don't believe that that's the right way. But at this moment we're looking for appropriate a company that can do the certification, so that we audit let's say the algorithm that we put in there, and we can have a stamp on that gives a little bit of a proof that indeed it's a neutral, open system, and there's no way that a connection over Rotterdam will be, well, how's it called, superseding any other of the connections into Northwest Europe.
I think it's fair to say that barges have been very much a part of Port of Rotterdam's past, but very much part of their present and indeed the future. Yep. You're investing in putting more goods through barges. Is that all part of a big sustainability drive?
Absolutely. So some of the barges can take 200 or 300 containers, which is a huge amount of trucks that we can take from the road. So it's not only the volume, but also the barge sector is looking for using sustainable fuels. So we believe that the mass they can provide, but also the opportunity of transporting on green fuels will make that a very sustainable solution. It avoids long trips of trucks, which is much better. So it also avoids traffic jams, which cause a lot of pollution as well. So that's why for us the barge sector is important, because we believe that's an important part of the logistics puzzle, but also of the sustainability puzzle that we have at hand.
And talking of future technologies, you're trialling drones in the Port of Rotterdam. What are the likely uses you're going to be putting these drones to?
Yeah, so first of all, we want to make sure that drones can be used in the port safely and securely. It's an industrial cluster out there. We don't want to have all kind of drones flying around randomly. So one of the pilots we run is to see if that can be coordinated properly, like the airspace in the higher layers. So I think that's an important basic step we need to take. Next to that, we're looking at the opportunity that drones can give to us as a company. So our Harbour Master Department does a lot of inspections, and we're looking for the opportunity of drones to take over these inspections. So we have vessels in the port now that do these inspections, but they could be replaced by drones. So that's something that we're experimenting with. The same opportunity we see for our customers. So we are convinced that drones can replace current processes. So to give you an example, if a customer has to get a document or a cargo sample to an inspection location, the ship has to go there now, or you need to have a small ship going there to pick up these goods. We think that drones can be a solution just to pick up that little sample, bring it to a location somewhere in or around the port, do the inspection, and avoiding that the whole ship needs to get into the port to the inspection location, has to get back again. So also there it will be good from a sustainability point of view, but we also think that there's a lot of value to be generated for our customers. So these are the use cases that we're looking for and that we invest in with our customers to see what this technology can bring.
As the host port to TOC Europe, it must be good to be back at a real live event again.
Yeah, it's so great to see all the stands here, to hear the crowd buzzing again, and it has been too quiet for the last years. So we're really happy to see all these people, to see them coming to Rotterdam. And well, I talked before about building an ecosystem. That's something that we care a lot. And that's not only our direct customers, it's also their suppliers, it's also the companies that bring in new technology. And that's what we see out here. So I'm very, very happy that we can do this real life again, that we can do it in Rotterdam, and that we have over more than 3,000 people visiting TOC. So that's very promising for the years to come. So I'm a happy person right now.
Matthias van Doorn, thank you very much for your support of TOC Europe.
Good.